You know that little ed ending on past tense verbs in English? It can be surprisingly tricky, right? Well, if you've ever stumbled over it, don't worry. We're about to crack the code and help you master it for good.
So, let's just jump right in with a quick question. Take a look at these three words. How do you pronounce the ending? Do they all sound the same to you?
If you said worked, loved, and wanted, hey, don't worry, you are not alone. That is a super common habit. But the good news is, by the end of this quick explainer, you're going to know exactly how to say them like a native speaker. So here it is, the big secret. That ed ending, it's not just one sound, it's actually three different sounds. And the trick to knowing which one to use, it's all about the very last sound of the verb before you add the ed. Yep, that's it. Just three. Three different sounds, each with its own really simple rule. Once you get these three down, you've basically mastered the ed ending for life. Okay, before we get to the actual rules, we need to understand one key concept: voiced versus unvoiced sounds. Come on, do this with me right now. Put your hand on your throat and make a zzz sound, like a bee. Zzz. Feel that little buzz? That vibration? That's a voiced sound. Now, try a s sound, like a snake. S. See? Just air, no vibration. That's an unvoiced sound. This one little test is the foundation for everything. All right, let's put that little trick to work with our very first rule. This one is all about those unvoiced sounds, the ones that are just air. This is where we get a sharp t sound. So, here's the deal. If a verb ends in an unvoiced consonant, a sound like K, P, or S that you make with just air, the ed at the end is going to be pronounced as a sharp T. Just listen. It's not worked, it's worked. Not helped, but helped. Can you hear that crisp T sound? Worked, helped, washed, watched. It's this really clean, sharp finish with no vocal vibration at all. Okay, on to our second rule. Now, if the first rule was all about the unvoiced sounds, you can probably guess what this one's for, right? That's right, it's for the voiced sounds. And this time, it creates a duh sound. You got it. If the verb ends in a voiced sound, one that makes your throat buzz, like L, N, V, or even any vowel sound, the ed is pronounced as a soft duh. Let's give it a try. Feel the vibration on that n in clean? That's the reason it becomes cleaned. Or take the word use. It actually ends with a voiced z sound, so we say used. Listen again. Enjoyed. Loved. You can hear it's a much softer, more vibrating sound than that sharp t. All right, time for our third and final rule. This is probably the sound most people think of when they see ed. And the good news? It's the easiest one to remember because it only, and I mean only, applies in two very specific situations. This is the only time you actually say a full ed sound that adds a whole extra syllable. It happens when the base verb already ends in a T or a D sound, and it makes sense, right? I mean, try to say want or need d. It's almost impossible. Your mouth can't do it. You need that extra little syllable to make it clear. So want becomes wanted. Start becomes started. Listen for that extra syllable popping in there. Painted. Needed. Easy, right? Okay, so now you know the rules, but let's be real, the goal is to make this automatic so you don't even have to think about it. So let's talk about a really simple and effective way to practice this and turn that knowledge into a real skill. Here is a fantastic two-step technique. First, anytime you're reading or writing, just physically jot down the correct sound, T, D, or id, right next to the verb. Then, and this is the important part, read the whole sentence out loud. This super simple action trains your brain, your eyes, and your mouth all at the same time. Let's try it with this sentence. See? Visited and painted both get that extra id syllable. Washed gets that unvoiced, sharp T sound. And enjoyed gets the voiced D sound. Now let's put it all together. She visited, painted, then washed the brushes and enjoyed the result. Sounds much better, right? I know, that was a fair bit of information, but it really does all boil down to a very simple system. So let's put everything we just learned onto one final summary slide that you can screenshot or save for later. And here it is, all in one place. You've got your sharp T sound for unvoiced endings, like in worked. You have your soft, vibrating D sound for voiced endings, like in loved.
And finally, that extra syllable id for verbs that already end in a T or D sound, like wanted. The biggest takeaway is this. Always, always listen for the final sound of the base verb. That one thing tells you everything you need to know. And just like that, you have the 3 simple rules to unlock perfect ED pronunciation. So now the ball is in your court. What's the first word you're going to go and practice using these rules? Go on, pick one and say it out loud right now. Happy practicing!